President Trump, I pray to God you watch this video way before November 3rd. If you follow the 3 suggestions in this video, you'll win a lot more votes this November. All Trump supporters love you as our president. We all want you to win by a landslide because that'll send a strong message to Congress that the people expect them to finally pass the laws you need so you can keep putting the people in our country first. You're a genius and I'm not, but my perspective on the state of the presidential race from my vantage point as an ordinary citizen is very different from yours. Unfortunately, too many people don't realize they've been brainwashed by the Commie Democrat media into believing you're a racist and that you're responsible for every single COVID-19 death. Actually, the Democrats are the only real racists. The Democrat Party and their Democrat supporters put the Africans in chains in the 19th century. And then later, they enslaved them economically in the big cities. It was the Democrats who created public housing ghettos for African Americans to live in. It was the Democrats who offered African American mothers more welfare if the fathers disappeared. It was the Democrats who made sure that African American children couldn't escape poverty by forcing them to attend the worst schools in the country. You must also remind the people every day in your tweets that in our federalist system of government, the governors and mayors of every state and big city are directly responsible for managing the COVID-19 crisis in their jurisdictions. Your presidential role is limited to providing the backup support which they all need. Governor Cuomo literally killed thousands of senior citizens in New York nursing homes by ordering workers with COVID-19 to work in these nursing homes. But the Commie Democrat media blames you for every single COVID-19 death in the entire country. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Siegfried B. Hellring. I've been on the Trump train for a very long time. I have a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University and an MBA from Rutgers Business School. I'm a Trump supporter first and then a Republican. Every day I thank God that you're our president. I was thrilled to see you speak live many years ago on a Sunday evening at the Javits Center. I received an autographed copy of your book, Think Big and Kick Ass in Business and Life. That book is fantastic. You definitely live by your own words. This video is me thinking big. Let me briefly describe my 3 suggestions to you before going into detail on each one. First, I'm suggesting that you speak to the nation to warn them that the Democrats have become communists and tell your audience you will provide the proof during your speech. Start by telling the viewers that on November 10th, 2019, Donald Trump Jr. told Mark Levin that the Democrat Party is now controlled by socialists and communists. Your brilliant son was right. Next, I'm suggesting that you agree to lead a movement I created for you called Vote for Patriots, Not Politicians, because you're an extraordinary patriot, not a corrupt career politician. If you lead this movement, you can ensure that more brilliant, conservative, populist Republicans like you get elected to the White House and to Congress, because we can never allow the Commie Democrats to take the White House or control Congress ever again. If that happens, all the great things you did for the American people using executive orders will all be undone immediately. And finally, I'm suggesting that you hold virtual town hall meetings in all the swing states at least twice before the election, because all voters love town hall meetings. Dear President Trump, stay well, please. Our country needs you so badly. My sympathies to you and your family for the loss of your brother Robert. Let me now explain my 3 suggestions to you in more detail. Suggestion number 1, You must show all Americans the proof in your primetime speech to the nation that the Democrat Party is now communist. Tell all your viewers you'll prove it by reading or paraphrasing excerpts from the Communist Manifesto, which are almost identical to the major policy proposals and beliefs of today's Democrat Party. Refer to the actual English translation of the Communist Manifesto in your speech. Here's the Communist Manifesto. You could paraphrase the relevant excerpts, but you might be more persuasive if you read the actual applicable excerpts. The only problem is that the earliest English translation of the manifesto is in an older dialect of English, which the audience may not always understand. I've chosen to paraphrase the relevant excerpts from the manifesto, which you can use to make your case. Point number 1. The manifesto says communists believe that communism is a worldwide movement and doesn't change when crossing national borders or state boundaries. Therefore, communists don't believe in borders. Today's Democrats also don't believe in borders. Neurotic Nancy says the wall is immoral. Beto O'Rourke wants to tear down the wall. That's very nice. In the manifesto, co-author Karl Marx predicts that the proletariats, the working class people, will seize all the wealth of the bourgeoisie, the rich people, who own most of the wealth and own most of the means of production. Today's Democrat Party is demanding that the top 1% pay up to 90% of their earnings in taxes. The Commie Democrats believe in seizing virtually all the wealth of the rich, just like Karl Marx predicts in the manifesto. The next point, the manifesto states that communists believe that all the rich have acquired all their wealth by exploiting the poor. Authors Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels demonize the wealthy throughout the manifesto. Crazy Bernie, AOC, the Squad, Pocahontas, and other Democrats constantly demonize the wealthy. The Commie Democrats' anti-capitalist mentality comes straight from the Communist Manifesto. Next point, the Communist Manifesto calls for a centralized government to control all means of production, transportation, and to educate all children. Today's Democrats are proposing the Green New Deal, which empowers the federal government to control all energy production nationwide. They're proposing Medicare for all, which empowers the government to control health care, which is 1/6 of our entire economy. The Commie Democrat bureaucrats in many government agencies keep issuing more and more regulations because they want more and more control of all the businesses they regulate. This concept of government control of all private businesses comes straight from the Communist Manifesto. In order for the people to understand why the Democrat Party has recently turned communist, you must explain that Obama, the de facto leader of the Democrat Party, is a hardcore communist who hates America and is willing to destroy it by any means. Since Obama leads the entire party, the party's other leaders must also hate America and want to destroy it. To prove how much Obama hates America, you must tell the viewers that Obama made secret side deals with Iran, which allowed Iran to continue developing nuclear weapons without permitting any unannounced IAEA inspections at any military sites, including the notorious Parchin military site. Please invite Senator Tom Cotton and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join you during your televised speech. Let these two patriots tell the viewers what they learned when they spoke to the Deputy Director of the IAEA in Vienna. To prove to the American people beyond any doubt that Obama is a hardcore communist, I invite you to use any of the evidence I provided in my video number 1 on YouTube. I laid out the irrefutable evidence that Obama is a commie. Dear President Trump, let me provide more details about my second suggestion that you should lead the Vote for Patriots, Not Politicians movement. From the minute you took the oath of office on January 20, 2017, your presidency has inspired me so much that I created this movement online. You're the patriot who inspired me to think of this name. I initially created this movement because I wanted to somehow encourage other brilliant conservative patriots like you to run and get elected to the House and Senate so they could help you accomplish everything on your agenda. I knew that virtually all the Democrats and all the fake Republicans, the rhinos, would do everything possible to prevent you from succeeding. And they have. Since your inauguration, you've worked tirelessly to drain the swamp, but you've learned that it's much deeper and much bigger than you thought. You've been forced to rely heavily on executive orders, but if we had a Congress that would pass the legislation to replace your executive orders by federal law, then all your great accomplishments would be much harder to undo. Maybe one day the Democrats will return to their party's more conservative platform under JFK, but nobody knows if or when that will ever happen. During the first 2 years of your presidency, when Republicans had a majority in the House and Senate, Paul Ryan and the other fake Republicans, those wonderful rhinos, were all talk, no action. I remember how hard you tried to get an affordable health care bill passed right away, as soon as you were elected president. But Paul Ryan failed you and the American people. Dear President Trump, I'm asking you to take over this movement now and become its first leader. I urge you to go to the website www.voteforpatriotsnotpoliticians.org and look at the content. I never intended to lead this movement because I can't inspire and excite over 63 million people. But you've done that. You've electrified your supporters because you've shown us every day how much you care about us. I created this movement because I believed that if it were continuously led by the right person, it would permanently preserve and strengthen our democracy by encouraging brilliant, conservative, successful patriots from the private sector to run in all future federal and state elections. Our democracy will not survive if the country keeps wavering between communism and democracy. Our country must choose democracy, period. We, the people who love democracy, must do whatever it takes to make sure we control the White House and Congress permanently. But we need your leadership, President Trump, even after your second term is over. That's why the Vote for Patriots, Not Politicians movement is the answer. Communism is not an option, period. I believe you were destined to be this movement's first leader, just as you were destined to become our president in 2016. I'm offering you complete ownership of the website and also my exclusive right to use the domain name voteforpatriotsnotpoliticians.org. I also offer you the movement's Twitter account, @VotePatriots, and my Facebook account for the movement, which is currently inactive. If you accept my offer to lead this movement and take over the website and take over both social media sites, you'll be able to influence our future elections and make sure that no future president or future Congress will ever be able to rescind any of your executive orders after your second term is finished. If you're interested, please have someone from your team contact me. You have my contact data because I've donated to your campaign and I purchased clothing from your official website. I think you'll like the fact that I created a separate page on the movement's website for all 50 states. So all future members of this movement will each be able to go to their own unique state page. Suggestion number 3. Dear President Trump, I suggest that as soon as possible, you immediately begin using the White House to hold virtual town hall meetings in all the swing states. Your team should make sure that everyone nationwide can watch these town hall meetings on TV or stream them live on the internet or on their cell phones. Also make sure that all the viewers in each swing state have the chance to be selected to ask you a question by video using their cell phones or the internet after they've been properly screened. I recommend you conduct at least 2 virtual town hall meetings for the citizens of every swing state. Chris Christie got elected governor of New Jersey twice, which is very difficult for Republican candidates. While he was governor, Chris Christie regularly held town hall meetings. I watched him conduct some of those meetings on TV. He walked around a crowded room and answered as many questions as possible in the time allotted. His answers were concise and specific. If he didn't know the answer, he promised to get back to the person who asked. I suggest you avoid using any moderators at these town hall meetings because moderators take too much time away from the limited time you have to answer the questions of potential voters in every swing state. The goal of these town hall meetings is to answer as many questions as possible from as many people as possible. Every time you answer a question, I suggest you ask the person whose question you answered if they have any follow-up comment or a follow-up question. Town hall meetings are all about connecting directly with voters. Nobody connects with people better than you, President Trump, because they recognize your authenticity and your empathy. We all know you love all American people and love this country. It's so obvious. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. I hope President Trump will be told about this video and watch it, and also watch my first 2 videos. Time is of the essence. God bless President Trump. God bless everyone watching this video, and God bless America, the country we all